We've defined trust to be when the manager believes their staff can be relied on to carry out their assignments, and that staff in turn believe that the manager knows what they're doing and will do what they say they will do. Trust requires three characteristics: competence, character, and caring. In this episode, we discuss why caring is critical in building and maintaining trust between manager and staff. Hi, I'm Rick Kendall.
And I'm Fred Ball.
Welcome to Management Mastery. The purpose of these podcasts is to share what each of us has learned about good and bad management in our combined over 40 years of experience, both as managers and executive coaches. During that time, we've coached managers at every level in companies from Fortune 100s to brand new startups in all major businesses, including nonprofits, government, and education. So whether you're just starting in your first management position or are an experienced manager looking to strengthen your management skills, we know our podcast will be valuable to you.
As Teddy Roosevelt said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. This is especially true of a manager's staff. For a manager to be truly successful, it is critical that their staff believe that they care about them as a group and as individuals. To do this, it is essential for a leader to consistently act in ways that help staff members to thrive, and staff members consistently act in ways to help other team members to thrive. The actions that you take to create a caring culture will be visible to staff, and staff will evaluate whether your actions are a true indicator of how you feel.
The best managers demonstrate by caring by first building the strongest team they can. And this begins by treating everyone with respect, regardless of their position or status, just as you, the manager, would want others to treat you. And by showing empathy and strong listening skills with the ability to understand others.
Rick, that's so true about building the strongest team that they can. And if the manager has direct reports, to make sure that those direct reports behave in the same way that the manager does, or else what will happen is that the manager will behave one way and the direct report will be putting a negative spin on something.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that happen. The other thing I've seen happen is where a manager will either hire people that aren't very good because they're threatened by good people, or if they inherit or hire someone who is particularly strong, keep them, keep them down because they're threatened by them. And that's just, you can't do that. You have to want people on your staff who are strong, maybe better at what they do than you would be. It's really important.
The caring manager has the qualities of a friend, colleague, and partner. This is not to say that the manager can't take action if he needs to or correct someone if he needs to, but he wants the person to feel that they are cared about and that the manager is a partner. It's also vitally important to listen well instead of reacting fast so you can better understand what others are saying, and by teaching your staff to do the same.
Yeah, you also want to show caring by helping each staff member learn about the others on the team. And I think team is the operant word here. And you do this through team meetings and other kinds of bonding activities. And this is particularly important if you're in a remote working situation where people aren't always at the same place at the same time kind of thing. It becomes more difficult, but it becomes more important. We'll talk about this in a future episode on remote working. And they encourage team members to recognize one another in terms of, their accomplishments, what they've done, what their contributions are, and just mutually reinforcing everybody.
No question, I absolutely agree with that. The caring manager freely gives recognition for achievement. They celebrate team successes together. They provide an opportunity for a staff member who achieves success to have visibility. That visibility is really important when the manager goes out of their way to make sure that someone receives that visibility. The person will not forget that.
Oh, very much so. And another point is, you want to be sensitive to how members like to be recognized, because some people are shy. They don't like to be singled out in a group meeting. They don't like attention called to them. And so you have to do it, a little more subtly sometimes, but just you want to be sensitive to that. Other people, they want to stand up on the table and have everybody applaud. So you really have to be sensitive to how they want that recognition. It's also, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that it is easy to say and takes time for the manager to basically learn as much as they can about each person on their staff. Just as you said, how they like to receive recognition, if there's anything that you have to say to them in terms of coaching them, how do they like to receive coaching? Undoubtedly in private, but there may be timing in certain situations. When do you do it, and so forth. All of that is important, and as you learn more about your staff.
Right. I mean, and everybody's going to be different. It's also important that you encourage team members along these lines to use their voice. That is, to voice constructive opinions without fear of a negative response, particularly from you, and that you encourage curiosity by asking questions and exploring possibilities and adapting based on team learning. So, you want people to feel free to voice their opinions at all times, even though at some point a decision has to be made. But you want to encourage exchange of ideas and provide real-time feedback to people to help them in their growth and development.
You also want to, it's also important that you invest in the development of your staff members by building a culture of continual learning and improvement. And you need to identify relevant development opportunities that focus on individual goals as well as team needs and priorities. Then, to further show staff you care about and value them, you need to empower independent decision making at all levels. This means that you encourage staff to feel comfortable presenting new ideas, solutions that they may have, or options that they may see for the department, and that you allow staff to make decisions in their areas of expertise without micromanaging, and provide them with the resources and tools they need to maximize their own performance and growth potential. And that business of micromanaging is something that young and people who are on the rise really don't like. Once you as the manager gain trust, you've got to give them more leeway in order to take risks. Obviously, the risk can't be too big, but you should allow them to take smaller risks and give them the opportunity to learn.
Yeah, and it's so important in that regard that, you learn by falling down. You learn by making mistakes. And so the manager who is terrified that somebody might make a mistake is crippling not only themselves, but their staff. So, yeah, I mean, you like you said, Fred, you want to avoid the big bad mistakes, but you've got to let your staff learn from their own mistakes and not hold them. The criterion is not whether or not they made a mistake, but whether or not they learn from it and whether or not they keep making the same mistake over and over.
I absolutely agree.
And that comes to another important point, which is that you want to embrace mutual accountability. So you have regular team meetings and context meetings where you discuss progress, what's going on, who's having what difficulties. You want to have clear, concise team goals that everyone knows and understands and shares, and that everyone is accountable for team performance. And, if one person fails, the whole team fails. If one person succeeds, the whole team succeeds. And that has to be that team mentality. And you want to establish still individual goals that are challenging but attainable. And you need to evaluate those on a case-by-case basis.
One of the things that good managers typically do is when they're having the team meeting, if the manager comes in and literally talks, if let's say it's a 40-minute meeting and talks for the 40 minutes and people go, they will go away saying that could be communications. He could have sent that in an email. Rather, if the boss can take the time to go around the table, assuming that there aren't too many people around the table, and give people an opportunity to let folks know what they're doing, where they're having success, if there's any place where they need help. All of that will dramatically help people to feel involved and that they are cared about, and the fact that the manager is taking the time to listen to them.
Oh, absolutely. And even if you've got a large staff, you want regular meetings, and you can have groups of people go in turn. So one meeting it's these folks, this sub-department or whatever, and next meeting. So everyone gets a chance to say to the group what they're doing, and to get feedback from the group. It's very important to have that kind of team spirit and regular communication, even if it's virtual, even if it's by Zoom or whatever. You want to have those group interactions as frequently as possible.
In this episode, we have discussed the importance of each member of the team feeling that the manager or captain of the team values and cares about them both as individuals and as members of the team. That the manager believes that the team only does well and succeeds if every member succeeds and does well.
We hope you have found this podcast useful, and will come back again for more management mastery. If you have any comments about this or any of our episodes, or would like to find out more about our other services, including one-on-one coaching and group seminars for managers, visit our website at careercoachclass.com. Thanks for listening.